Okay, hello everyone. Good morning to you all. So today we are going to do the correlation test. Now I have the data that is sent to me by my lecturer. So let's go and do the correlation test. Now we have to insert the data first. Let's go and see the data. Here's the data. Let's find my student number first. Insert him. Okay. Okay. There it is. Let's find my student number first. It's 285. See. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. 285. Okay, here we go. So I got the correlations, and then the data is about learning motivations and growth mindset. So we are going to find out the correlations between learning motivations and growth mindset. Let's go to the data and learning motivations. Now, let's find my student number. We're using 285. Oh, hold on a second. Okay, I go. There, here is the data. This is for learning motivations. So we're going to use SPSS to find the correlations. And now I'm going to block the data so that we could use the data as the first variable to find the correlations. Okay, we insert the data first. And let's copy this and put it in. What's this? There we go. Yeah. Okay, let's insert it. Now, this is the first data. Let's change it. Make sure the measure of this data is on the scale. All right. And then let's change the name. It's learning motivation. Learning motivation. And don't forget to put label on the data. Hold on a second. It's too long, so let's LM, and that's gonna be good. Let's put the label. The label is learning motivation. Okay, now let's look for the second data. And the growth mindset. We're comparing two data, right? So yeah, there we go. It's in growth mindset. We're going to block this. And then we're going to copy this and bring it to and insert the data here. All right, we got the second data. Now let's change, don't forget to change the measures into scale. Okay, and then we put the name here because it's growth mindset, it's GM, of course. And then we're gonna put the label here, growth mindset. Oh wait, it's that. Right. Okay. It's that. I'm sorry. Okay, now we got two data. So the first step of uh where's the Hold on a second, let me show you the, okay, here it is. There you go. This is uh the step on how we're going to find the correlations between learning motivations and growth mindset. Okay, so the first is we're going to check the normality or how the data is normally distributed by using the Kolmogorov-Smirnov test or the Shapiro-Wilk test for every variable. Okay, so we're going to do it for every variable. Let's do it. Okay, we're going to, how we do it is we're going to analyze, and then we choose the descriptive statistic, and then we use explore. And then, because this is a correlations, we don't have to differentiate the data. We can just put the in a dependent list, and then check it, and we use histogram, and don't forget to put the normality plot. Okay, and then we're going to analyze the data. Hold on a second. Okay, now we got the result. The test of normality from Kolmogorov-Smirnov and Shapiro-Wilk. Now let's see here. Okay, let's read the data. Since the learning motivation significance is above, yes, if the data, the p significance is above 0.05, that means the data is normally distributed. And if it's not, that means the data is not normally distributed. And we're going to use the Spearman's correlations to determine the correlations between learning motivations and growth mindset. So that being said, and looking from the data and the test of normality, since the significance of learning motivations is above 0.05, and then growth mindset is also above 0.005, that means both data are normally distributed. Okay, so now, because the both data is normally distributed, we are going for the next step is to check for the deviations and the linearity of the data. Okay, now let's go and let's check the linearity. Okay, first, how to check that? We go to analyze, and then we use compare means, and then we click on means, and then we insert. We can because the data is, it doesn't matter, we're gonna check the learning motivations affecting growth mindset or vice versa. We can just put the data in list that we want, independent list or independent list. It's the same. Okay, and now let's check it first. Yeah, and here in the options, we click on test for linearity. Okay. Okay, now everything is done. Now let's see the result. Okay, now here is the result after doing the test to analyze. Okay, now we check it in the ANOVA table. Okay, from here we can see the linearity and the deviation from linearity. Wait, from this flow, we can see that if the deviations from linearity is above 0.05, then it means the data is not deviate from the linearity. And if it's below 0.05, means the data is mostly deviate from the linearity. And that means we have to use the Spearman's correlations. Let's take it. Okay, here the number of deviations from linearity, the significance is 0.636, which means it is way above 0.05. And that being said, hold on a second. And that being said, the data is not deviate from the linearity. Now let's check on the linearity. The linearity is 0.366. And if the linearity is below 0.05, that means the data is significant. And if it's above 0.05, means the data is not significant. And then we have to use the Spearman's correlations instead of Pearson's correlations. Because the data is not significant, then we have to use the Spearman's correlations because the data is 0.366 and the p is above 0.05. We have to use the Spearman's correlations to check on the correlations. Okay, so now we are going uh, to use this Spearman's correlations to check the correlations between learning motivations and growth mindset. Now let's go to analyze, and then we go to correlate, and then we bivariate, and then we insert both data into the variables, and then don't forget to use the Spearman, okay? Because the data is not linear, means there's no, the data is not significant. And then we proceed, and there we go. We got the final results of the correlations from the Spearman's rule is that the correlations coefficients is minus 115. And then the significance is 0.202. And with that being said, since the data doesn't meet the assumptions of linearity, and the Spearman's rank order correlations was used to explain the relationship between the relation, motivations, and growth mindset, the analysis revealed that a very big negative correlation because is minus 115. And then because the significance value, we can look here, it's 0.202 is greater than 0.05, means that the relationship of the data wasn't statistically significant. Therefore, there was no significant relationship between learning motivations and growth mindset among the respondents. So that being said, we are failed to reject the null hypothesis of which means that we failed to reject that there is no significant relationship between learning motivations and growth mindset. And we accept there is a significant, we don't accept there is a significant relationship between learning motivations and growth mindset. Okay, so that's about our test on correlations between learning motivations and growth mindset. And if you guys want to check it out about the graphs, we can use the tools here. We can use graphs, and then we go to legacy dialogues, and then we use the scatter dot here, and then we can check it on simple scatter. Let's check it, and then we can put, it doesn't matter, you can put learning motivations on y-axis or vice versa. And then we proceed, and there we go. That's the graphs. And then if you want to see the line, we can put the line here, and then the fine photo. Okay, and then we close it, and then we see, you can see here, guys, is that the line is tilting down or it's decreasing. And that means that learning motivations, if the learning motivations increase, the growth mindset is decreased. And that's also vice versa. If the growth mindset increase, means the learning motivation is decrease. So that's all about our meetings today, and I hope it's clear and you guys can understand what I mean here, and I hope this is useful for you guys because the correlations test is very important if you want to check the linearity of the data and of course the correlations between the data. And thank you very much for following from the start of the video, and I hope you have a nice uh nice day, and thank you very much. What is this recording? Mana ini?